Hey there, folks. Welcome to Kasa Kai IDeaS, the revival, if I may call it that. I know. It's been a very long time since we've last done this. And to make it up to you, we have someone special today, as we do every single time. ढूंढिए मत आदमी में आदमी 100%. ढूंढिए मत आदमी में आदमी 100%. क्योंकि जब चलता है सिक्का तो कुछ ना कुछ घिसता तो है. और मत कीजिए गम जो घर तक नहीं है पक्की सड़क. जैसा भी है रास्ता तो है. बस चलते रहना ही सीखा है हमने जिंदगी की रीत से. बस चलते रहना ही सीखा है हमने जिंदगी की रीत से. आइए कुछ मीठी मीठी प्यारी प्यारी बातें करते हैं हम आज अभिजीत से. प्लीज वेलकम अभिजीत जोशी.
Thank you, Utkarsh. Thank you for inviting me. And those were really great lines.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. That is very kind of you to accept that. How's it going, Abhijit? Tell us how these past 18 months have been for you.
So if you really look at first, maybe few weeks were odd, but after that it is rocking. And before I start, I really want to say maybe a couple of things. So first, I want to thank everyone who has been working through these past 18 months, maybe work from home, power, internet issues, sometimes rain and whatnot. We're all over India now. If you look at our teams, somebody is in Andhra, somebody is in Calcutta, somebody is in Ambala, but we are a very strong team. And if you really look at our deliverables, none of our deliverables got impacted with whatever happened outside, isn't it? So I really want to thank each and everyone, especially from ROI team, SPM team, ICS team, Enterprise Service Delivery team, Yogesh Kal, and that's my team. At the same time, my extended teams. So probably the CS, technology, admin, finance, each and every team, tech ops, each and every team at IDeaS. I want to sincerely thank everyone because we kept our business running, and I think it would not have happened without the sincere and honest effort everyone really put forth. So my sincere thanks to everyone. The second thing which I want to say is, see, I've taken a step back in past 18 months and it was a conscious effort. So if you look at past 3 years, we have put a lot of effort in building right leadership within each of these teams. If you look at, there are about maybe 15 to 20 leaders in service delivery. So each team, you will find a set of leaders. There is a manager and there are senior product engineers, senior ROA. And in my mind, everybody is a leader who really takes ownership of their work. And I really think that that's where I felt that I have to take a step back from regular business because these new leaders, they need their space. And that's how I really did a Dhoni in terms of kind of stepping back, number 5, number 6. Very few times I came forward. Some issues I felt like it's very hard for me to sit back when I see something on call, when I see some email, when I see some frustration and XYZ. It's very difficult for me to step back because I have natural tendency to jump in and kind of try to win. But I have a sincere belief that it is this space that will develop the next set of leadership. Now, that really created a lot of time for me. And that's where I said, maybe if we have to work on a next wave of growth, what we have to do is expand the cake. So typically G2, G3 is what we used to support before we went into the lockdown. So I've invested a lot of time into these new products, starting with CPRMS, then Smart Space, then the Ref Plan, Casper, and Optics. So I have been kind of spending all my time. Now, personally, if you look me, first few weeks were difficult, but I quickly understood that this is kind of way of life, and I could integrate my work and life really well. In fact, I got a lot of time for myself in terms of my fitness, in terms of my work-life integration, my hobbies. So, if you ask me, it has been really going great. I have no complaint. I could spend a lot of time with my kids, which was also something that used to bother me. That 9 o'clock you come to office, 9 o'clock typically you reach, so there was very less time. So I
Very
think
true.
maybe we have to kind of adjust to the situation. So I'm really happy. I did one of the best things in past 18 months, if you ask me, and there's something very special which I want to mention. And
Certainly.
I don't want anyone to imitate because that's the risk. See, I love running and I have been running for a very long time. And sometimes what happens is you have to challenge yourself because you have this tendency to win. Now, when you are in leadership role, what happens is you cannot win. It is your team members who are to win. So how do you satisfy your hunger to win? And that's where you set some goals for yourself in your personal space, which could be running, which could be hiking, cycling, whatnot. You see a lot of people doing that. So before the lockdown, I had this mindset that if I run a 21K marathon, and then that is going to be like a 1 week, once in a week kind of affair. And I used to really spend the whole day relaxing and resting. So in September, I really challenged saying that can I run on consecutive days? So I could really run around 15 days, each day 21. And maybe work-wise also that was somewhat reasonable period. And that is the best period of my life. My work never got impacted. So somewhere what I learned is we are bound by our imagination. It is all in mind that we have these constraints. Sure.
But it so happens that whenever you take a person's name, you correlate that to somebody else you already know, or probably somebody you met later in life. But then you say, this bloke has a very striking resemblance to this other guy I know. So I'm
Okay.
going to just go ahead and show you
Mhm.
this gentleman, Jocko Willink.
Okay.
And he's an American author. He's an ex-Navy SEAL, etc.,
Mhm.
etc. And the reason why I say he reminds me of you is because
Mhm.
Abhijit, in the short span of time that I was in ROA, I have seen you on top of your game. I have
Mhm.
seen you on floors with us looking at
Mhm.
responses, which is
Mhm.
something you need not do. As you said, you used to jump in all the time. That kind of resembles with his psychology of going through the motions whether you like it or you don't. So he has a very simple Twitter account, a very simple Instagram account, and he posts very simple pictures of him working out, but it's never himself. It's always either the time at 4:30 in the morning when he starts, or the dumbbells that he's doing, or the rope that he's climbing in, and with a very simple message saying, "Get the motion done." And that is something that I think I am trying to imbibe. I cannot say that I'm doing it. I'm way below that ladder, but I think that is what resonates with me about you as well. Whether you like it or you don't, you get a run in. I have seen your Instagram posts with just 10 kilometers a day, at times just 5 kilometers a day as well. I have seen you do treks, difficult ones like the recent one,
Yes.
and I've also seen you do Srinagar just for the fun of it. So
Mhm.
where does this synergy come from?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, there are two parts to it. The first part is see what happens when you work in leadership role. You cannot meet everybody's expectations. Sometimes you have to align. Sometimes you have to take people together. Sometimes you have to really say that, yeah, this is not good in the short run, but in the long run, this will really help. For example, there is a lot of stress right now in some parts of service delivery because we are trying to build all the processes for Casper. We are learning Casper. So there is a bit of stress, but then there is a bit of long run. If you see, there is going to be a huge benefit in terms of when we'll actually roll out. This is all investment, and sometimes it is good to de-stress. So that is one part of it. So the second part of it is this winning. That how do you control your winning? Because see, you don't. If you want to be a good leader, then you can only create leaders. And I have a very strong belief that leader has the primary job to create leaders. Someone who leads, who doesn't create leader, will be very constrained because what one person can do is max maybe 10, but the moment he creates 10 leaders, then it is 100. And the moment you create 20, it is going to be maybe 2000. And that's how you multiply, isn't it? And that's where the second part is this winning. What happens is for achievement oriented people, they want to win. And that's where they maybe men need mountain to climb them, isn't it? Then you set goals and then you try. But one thing which I have a bit of a regret that essentially I could have taken care of my health better. That's what I feel. But maybe I'm catching up. So
Well done.
I'm a long way to go in my fitness. If you really look at, I have an ambition to run 100-kilometer ultra marathon. So compared to that goal,
That's
I'm kind of way behind. So let's see if that is going to happen at the age of 46. I don't know if that will become a reality, but that's a goal, and I'm kind of patient. I have a lot of patience, so I'm not going to do something foolish at this age. So we'll build slowly. We have to prioritize work, have to prioritize personal life, maybe some other kind of activities that I do outside of my work and all that stuff. So it has to blend well. So let's hope that it will happen. First is 42, which is in sight, and then probably an ultra marathon is something like a goal.
Abhijit. Wow, you just
But
happened to
just one
mention your
word of
age.
caution. Yeah, just one word of caution. See, sometimes
Yes.
what happens is people just emulate. And I
Yeah.
just want to kind of, because it has happened in the RO team. I mentioned my running and someone tried to run the next day.
And
And
and they had
then
a pulse
that
of
was,
200.
yeah, exactly.
I
So I
remember
just want
that.
to See, it is a lot of practice and a lot of maybe medical test and XYZ. So nobody should just kind of do it. Suddenly, maybe you have to go slow, start with walking, then 3, then 5, and then do some test and see how your body is reacting. So just a word of caution. After that incident, I have become very cautious in mentioning anything to anyone about running or something. Yeah.
Right. So, Abhijit, from this short
Mhm.
conversation that we've just had so far, there are quite a few pointers that I'm picking, to kind of link to questions that I had at the back of my mind. So I'm going to
Mhm.
just go ahead and diverge from the leader bit for a moment because I have a separate
Yes.
question for that. You
Mhm.
said you've set up a goal for yourself, and I think it is very important as individuals to know, at certain points in life that I had certain things planned for myself regardless of my age, regardless of where I am today, I have certain new goals that I have got to set up. And that is the start of it all. So Abhijit
Yes.
2.0, if I may say that.
Yes.
How did that
Yes.
idea come about and what sparked it?
Yes. So essentially, see what I do every year. I take some time off and I assess where I am and then where I'm heading. What is purpose of my life? Is my work life aligned with my personal life, my personal aspiration? Am I growing as a person? And that's why I said that essentially what do I want to do, and then I said maybe there are a lot of things that I wanted to do which I could not do. And that's where, and typically the idea came when I ran that 21 for 15 days, saying that I used to think differently when I was in 1.0 mode, that essentially it is constrained and I cannot run more than 21, I have to give time to recover and all that stuff. I said if I have to reimagine, why should I think in these constraints? Why don't I really reimagine myself in terms of what I want to do, in terms of my career aspiration, in terms of my personal aspiration? And that's where this idea came, that why don't I rediscover myself?
Very, very true, Abhijit.
One thing that
So
happens, Utkarsh, when you run very long distances, the best thing that happens is you are alone, right? And you just can't do anything. You can't listen to music because your battery will run out of power. Let's say when I run for like 4 hours, right? Then I'm alone, and it gives a lot of time to think. It gives a lot of time to deliberate about what happened, how where I'm heading. So that gives a lot of time to think and imagine or reimagine.
So all those folks who are planning to get onto a running schedule, all those folks who are planning to get to the gym after this bout of second lockdown is over, please pay heed to this advice that Abhijit is giving.
Mhm.
Do you think that with a regular mundane life that usually
Mhm.
people have,
Mhm.
somebody who's really trying to sort of break through that wall of mundane, how does
Mhm.
one do that? And how did you do that personally? Because before you get onto it,
Mhm.
when you spoke about Abhijit 1.0 and that realization I say would have hit you in 2020 when you were 45 years old, and I'm reckoning your age for all our viewers
Yes,
to know that age is just
absolutely.
a number. What
Mhm.
what was it that you did to break through the pain
Yeah, so it's
mentally?
a choice. See, first is a choice, right? So one part is someone can be very comfortable saying that, oh, I'm settled, and then why do I need to? There is a share I don't really recollect, isn't it? Something like this, that दोस्त कहते हैं कि शांति से रहो, जिंदगी आराम से गुजर जाएगी. बट उन्हें क्या पता कि हम जिंदगी गुजारने नहीं, जीने आए हैं.
वाह.
So somewhere हम तो यहाँ जीने आए हैं, isn't it?
हमारे गेस्ट आ गए हैं
Yes,
और ये जिंदगी हम जीने के लिए देखते हैं और कितने मजे आते हैं. वेलकम
absolutely.
ऑनलाइन शिल्पा मैम, if you could please switch on your
Oh,
camera.
oh,
Hi.
I never expected that, Shilpa.
And I'd like to start by asking you a very simple question. Uh, you know,
Okay.
very recently in 2019, when we had the 10 years, 10,000 celebration, I did a small
Mhm.
impression of Abhijit on stage. I'm not sure if you were privy to that, but Abhijit must have told you.
Mhm.
We were going around the office asking everybody, how has it been? How has it been? And in case of Abhijit, we said, Baptist, I've been here around for 20 years. So which 10 years are you talking about? So I know that in these 22 years now, you have been a constant factor in Abhijit's life. How has it been? How's the journey been?
So it was wonderful. So, we got married, and within a week, Abhijit joined IDeaS. So Abhijit's marriage to me and with IDeaS started together. We just the anniversary is just 7 days apart. Okay.
So which one do you all
So I
celebrate?
have seen
More
Abhijit.
grand.
We celebrate both. We celebrate both. So Definitely, it was a wonderful journey that I have seen, and the way he grew with ideas. Our relationship also grew here on our engagement together. So it was wonderful. Yeah, I have seen ideas going from maybe below 100, then in Pune, somewhere close to 100, and then now so many now. And those Goa trips, of course, I miss a lot now during COVID time. Lovely time, lovely time. Yeah.
Well, that's so kind of you to hold us all in high regards, ma'am. I mean, this in a way is an extension to Abhijit's family, so we are all family members to you too, and I think I feel that vibe over here. So, you know, I know that we've all kind of seen this journey happen. I mean, especially people who've been way before me, like Prasad and Ashish, maybe. But today, I want you to share something about Abhijit that none of us know. It could be anything, just anything, but something that none of us know
There will
that
be
you could
so
share about
many
Abhijit.
things. What do you want to
Maybe
know?
my hobby.
Oh
Maybe
my
my
God.
hobby
No.
that
Let's not
nobody
make it
knows.
very. Let's not make it very happening
So,
because Abhijit already is the
well,
mentor-mentee
you
relation
know,
with a lot of people. I'm sorry.
Abhijit, that I can share with you. Am I audible, guys?
Yes. Now you are. Yes. Of course. Yeah.
Guys, am I audible? Okay, fine. So one thing that I can tell you, so Abhijit is fond of grooming and bringing in new blood into the system. Okay, so he has been very instrumental in ideas also in bringing in fresher. Yeah, one thing that you guys would not know is that he has groomed me as well as a professional. Okay, so there was a time when I was running away from my this professional journey in first 3 months. Okay, and Abhijit sat down. We sat down one fine day, and that day was like, and I don't feel ashamed of telling that I was on the verge of failing one exam, without which I was not able to getting through. And
Right.
Abhijit said, you go, you fail. I don't mind. You will be doing another, you will be cracking more such exams. But today, if you stay back at home, you will never be able to go and face the world. You will
Wow.
not be able to face yourself. And this
Simply
was
wow.
something he said, what I wanted to hear from somewhere, and he was the one who did it.
There are people in our lives when we grow up, we touch their lives and we sort of mentor them without knowing, and at times we become their buddies, partners. But then there are also people who turn us into who we are without us knowing it. Like, one wide example is our own parents. So let us just hear what your mother has to say.
Oh my goodness, I never knew. Nobody told me. I'm just saying to everyone that just keep quiet. This is a bit of a video call that I never knew.
Abhijit is a very loving, caring, and responsible son. We came to live with him in Pune some 15 years ago. And I am proud to say that there has not been a single occasion of dispute in our family since then. Abhijit is not at all impulsive. His patience is remarkable. When he says that he is grateful to me for my contribution to family as an elderly person, I always stop him. But I know that he means it. In his busy schedule, he finds time to sit with us and talk to us about our health, about our problems, about our relatives, and on a variety of topics of our interest. He is very cool and mature. He is very humble, sincere, and hardworking. He doesn't feel ashamed to help us in household work. He is born and has been brought up in a joint family where he was always surrounded by so many old and elderly people, so many relatives, guests of different age groups, so many cousins and friends. His grandfather was the eldest one in the mansion. and received great respect from all. He played a great role in molding Abhijit's character. I still remember that in his childhood, Abhijit never touched the toys of even his cousins without permission, and never sat with them for lunch, dinner, or even breakfast unless invited. In 2017, my cancer was detected. And since then, Abhijit and of course Shilpa both have been taking extreme care of me. Abhijit knows that a patient most dislikes sympathy. He treats me as normal and says that I am his support. And that gives me strength. I can speak volumes on my dear Abhijit. He is my soul. My blessings will always be with him. With each breath, I pray to God for his good health, long life, progress, and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Utkarsh. This is a lot of work. Thank you so much. Yes.
Well, Abhijit, this is
Certainly.
only 25% work on my behalf. The rest 75% I will not tell you, but then you'll get to know who did it.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Shreya jata hai Shilpa ma'am ko, so I will not take the credit at all.
Yeah. Generally,
When
it is
we-
very
So
difficult. My
concept-
kids will always
concept
tell me
is
that
yours.
something is going on. So this is really. So I have my spies in the house. They will tell me what's going on. But this was really great. Great
Wonderful.
job.
Well,
But Utkarsh,
thank
let me tell me let me tell you one failure. See, what happens is we can always talk about our successes, and sometimes our failures also defines us. That's what I think. See, my grandfather was a wrestler, so he was 85 when he called me. I was going for my MBA. I had done my engineering. I was looking forward to a corporate career. See, everybody before me was a teacher in my family. So he was also a teacher. Everyone, my uncle, my grandfather, my other, his younger brother, everyone was like a teacher. My mom, my dad, and everything. So I was really raring from a small town. I did my engineering and then Toyota Motors, and he called me. He said, "Come here." He said that look at your biceps and look at my biceps. His biceps at 85, being a wrestler. And he said, do one thing, invest 1 year with me. I will take you to Akhada and we'll really build your physique. And you will not repent that you spend this year. I said, oh, you're an old man, you don't know anything. But that's my biggest failure, if you ask me. I can never imagine. I should have listened to his advice at the age of 85. And then maybe that's a regret. But again, maybe life is about learning, isn't it? So I'm trying to uh, learn from that mistake that I did. I should have listened to him.
well,
So
Abhijit,
just to
just
add one fun element here,
yeah, certainly.
his grandfather also advised him to get married immediately after BE if he has got somebody. And he missed that advice as well.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did because I wouldn't be here talking to you all both otherwise.
Yes.
Circling it back. So, Abhijit, I know we've overrun the course of our interview, but then I have one short more video to show you. And in that video, I just want to go ahead and elicit this one thing that you've been talking about since I joined IDeaS, and of course, right now in the interview as well, that it is very important for a person in a leadership position to start grooming somebody else to take up not that position necessarily, but to be able to think that he's empowered enough to take decisions. We've heard that from Shilpa. I am a living testament of that. I remember coming to you with advice before moving to CRM. We have one more person, but I want you to guess. Do you think you'd be able to guess who I'm going to bring up on my video next? If
My
you'd like, I can give
best
you an.
guess would be Murphy. Murphy would be my guess. Or maybe
No, not
Sudarshan.
quite. Not quite. Okay, let's give you a hint, a small
Sure.
hint. This gentleman wears specs and resembles you in a very different sort of a way. Just the hairstyle, maybe. Yeah, just the hairstyle.
Nikhil?
Let's see.
Hairstyle wise, okay.
Just bear with me a moment, and you will
Okay.
be.
Okay.
Don't let him hear the voice first.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Well, just a second, and here we are.
Oh my goodness. This is Shirish, my friend.
I consider myself lucky to have a friend like Abhijit. That is my childhood friend since ninth standard. And he is
Little
one
bit
year
of
senior to
volume,
me.
Utkarsh,
And so he
you're
is
recording
more
this.
of a friend, philosopher, and guide for me. See, I am seeking his guidance since 10th standard when we entered into this cycle of board exams and all this career. So since he was 1 year senior to me, he used to guide me in 10th, in 11, 12, engineering, even for jobs, which fields are better, which opportunities are better, all this. And as recent as I have purchased flat in same society where he had purchased this flat. And when he shifted to the bigger flat in new society, I also followed him new society as well. So on the lighter side in this legacy, I wish this legacy continues and 15 years down the line, the pension plan which he will purchase, I will also purchase same. I feel so. Uh, if I want to talk more about Abhijit, if I zoom out a bit and see Abhijit, I find him a very focused and hardworking and dedicated person. Whatever he does, he does it in a big way and very uh, focused way. Uh, that is one of the very important point or good point about him. Regarding soft point about him, he's full of hope and possibilities. When we talk with him, you will never find any negative thing. You will always find a lot of hope, possibilities, positive thing around him, and he also tries towards that. So naturally, people get connected towards such people. So that is one of the important point which he has. Lastly, and I'm sure the person cannot be different in different places. If he is so good, so hardworking, focused, very proactive and positive in his personal life, he will be same in his professional life as well. Lastly, I would like to wish very good luck to Abhijit for his future life and career prospects. Thank you.
Oh, great job, Utkarsh. I could never imagine. I could never, in my sleep also, I could never imagine that this much of effort goes into these recordings. Thank you so much. I think one of my best friends, my childhood friends, and then for just sake of record, I got 90%, he got 99%. So he's a very humble man in saying that I guide him. He's amazing, talented
अभिजीत
professional in himself.
99%.
Yeah, he got
उतने में तीन
99% in
तीन
12.
गरीब लोग पास हो जाते हैं अभिजीत उतने में.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Very knowledgeable guy. Yeah. Yes.
Well, wonderful. So I'm glad that these videos were well received. Thanks again, Shilpa, for organizing this and for getting this
Yes.
across. I think I would like to go ahead and sum up. I really cannot sum up this interview. I wish this interview went on. I wish we had a monthly thing going where I could speak with you on a monthly basis like this. But I think I'm going to just go ahead and take a rest pause here and reflect back on a moment that I had with Abhijit. I'm not going to tell you where this was because I cannot possibly say that on YouTube that this was in the men's washroom. Sorry, just had to. But I'm going to go ahead and say this to our audience. Abhijit, always has this beautiful connection between his mind and his heart. And everything that he says actually travels through in that same format. So it's mind, heart, and then I believe it was the third year of me being in a CRM position. I just started adjusting to the new role. And I was washing my hands, and Abhijit looks at me. He was washing his hands as well, and looks at me like, getting comfortable, huh? And that's all that he said. And he left. and that meant so many things at that point. I'm like, getting comfortable, washing hands. Was it this? Was it that? Was it CRM position? Was it something else? And that led me to think a little more, to have a little more zest towards what I want to do next. Of course, I'm still figuring it out. But with you at the helm, Abhijit, I'm sure people like myself, Shilpa, and the herd that follows you will always be in safe hands. With that, I'd like you both to give one message to our IDeaS fam, and of course, one message for me. If I be lucky enough to do this interview, I can always be lucky enough to get a message from you. I'd like to sum up with that. So over to you, Abhijit and Shilpa. One message to IDeaS fam from you both, and one message for me. Could be a word, shouldn't be a problem.
So Shilpa, you want to go ahead first?
Oh, no.
Shilpa.
Alphabetically, go ahead.
Sure. So say, Utkarsh, one thing which I want to say to you that I have to prioritize work, right? It depends on opportunities. Sometimes I wear a hat of an individual contributor. Like right now, I'm deeply into casting every part of the system, and some part of it then takes a backseat. So somewhere working with you, I
Abhijit, I think we've lost your voice.
One thing which I fundamentally believe is that's what I will say. So one word is challenge. Okay, sure. So what I was saying, that essentially one word that I will say to you, that challenge yourself, Utkarsh. You have a long way to go. Full of talent, right? Imagine if we are enjoying this video and all these sessions. Look at clients, right? It must be, they would be looking forward to talking to you, right? And
True.
that's where I think challenge yourself is what I will say to you. The second thing which I will say to IDeaS is, first of all, I want to say that I'm a human being, and sometimes these sessions just focus on the positive side. I have made a lot of mistakes. IDeaS have been very kind. I'm very fortunate to be part of IDeaS. But one thing which I always said for last 2-3 years is apna time aayega. And I was really preparing for that time. And maybe this is the time. If you look at 21, 22, 23, IDeaS apna time aa gaya abhi. And the reason is because of COVID, there's a lot of digital transformation theme that these hotel companies will run, which means we are going to get a lot of business.
True.
Right now, if I look at 2022, because we are in that planning phase, there's so much of work that we have to do. And there's so much of opportunity, that be positive and then be very generous, be very kind of, I cannot express in words. There's so much enthusiasm that I'm really looking at in 2021 and 22. But one theme, apna time aa gaya. And these are our years to really, whatever hard work we have done, whatever baseline we have built, there's talent in every team. There are experienced people like you, Utkarsh. We all have to step up and then kind of embrace this opportunity to stay relevant to us, to stay relevant to our clients, to stay relevant to other offices, other teams, and then let's make it happen. That is what I will say.
So don't blink, folks. You may blink and may miss. So that's the message from Abhijit, and we move on to Shilpa now, alphabetically.
Okay, thank you. So it was wonderful, Abhijit. Thank you. And professionally, Abhijit has been giving so many advices to so many people. And as I mentioned, he has been very, very open to provide me professional advice as well. Despite him being a very good family person, So my message to IDeaS is that, guys, if you find the family in your organization and you're as close as to the organization as you are to your blood relatives and friends and all, you are able to find the happiness in work and in life together. So I wish best of luck to IDeaS, because the way idea grows, we will be growing. Yeah, as a family, we will be growing. So
Thank you.
all those talented folks over there who will be listening to us over YouTube or onto your internal channels, good luck, do well, and enjoy the life. There is a lot in life which we can do apart from our professional careers. So please find the opportunities and do it. And to you, Utkarsh, you have done this session so beautifully, so well. And in one of our Goa trip also, I have seen that you have that capability to hold the crowd to you. So keep this always intact with you. Keep this feature of you always with you, and keep doing such sessions. It helps. It helps
Thank
people
you.
know each other. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you as well.
Yes.
Well, wonderful.
Yes.
So,
Utkarsh, and I
yes.
owe a cup of tea in Irani cafe once
Oh,
offline
is
something
it?
for this session.
Oh, well, wonderful, wonderful, Abhijit. I cannot express my gratitude towards this. Abhijit, being with IDeaS for 5 years, I know I have always been in awe of all that goes around. I used to always be very mindful of how I'm walking across to Prashant's cabin or to HR cabin when you were in and taking meetings. I think I'm going to just go ahead and ask you this one last question, and this is personally for me. I am not quite sure of how this will be perceived, but when we were trying to book this interview, Shilpa, I'd like to let you know as well. When we were trying to book this interview, I tried doing it on a Saturday. Now, people will think that I'm out of my mind to ask somebody to come in on a Saturday and do this. But believe me, from Monday to Friday, I could not see a single white space to go ahead and book a meeting space or, or book a meeting slot with you. How do you manage your time? How do you?
Yes. So see, right now we are in this phase, and that's why I'm saying that apna time aa gaya. This is what we were preparing for, right? So this is like our World Cup time, and I love this. So if you ask me, I love being busy. Actually, I went on a vacation. It was beautiful. But last 2 days, I started missing my work. So I love my work. That is maybe first thing, right? It's full alignment, saying that every day 6 o'clock I look forward to my mail. Everything is on track, and then 10 o'clock also I will look at it. So there's no conflict in my personal life and work. That's the first thing. Second thing is you prioritize, because you cannot do everything. For example, I cannot really meet every expectation from every team member or every client or and that's where I prioritize. And maybe through that you blend it. Sometimes I say to someone saying that now I'm too tired, 4 o'clock, let me have a peaceful cup of tea with my maybe pets, and then I maybe that's one secret. Next time I have some very interesting hobby which nobody can imagine. In terms of, I have a very unique set of pets.
Why next time? Let's hear about it now. I have the time. Please go ahead.
So see, I grew up in Amravati, and in these small towns wherein you have this Hindu Muslim people staying together.
Yes.
People have this Kabootar Baazi, and then I have pigeons as my pets, and they fly very high. So I have these high flyer pigeons as my pets, and those kind of give me a lot of energy. So they fly at a height that you cannot see them, and they come back home in the
Wow.
evening. So that's amazing. So if you ask me, and that's where you blend it, right? Then essentially, if you feel really tired, then you take a break. You don't attend one meeting. You can always reschedule, Utkarsh. But it's not great. Maybe still I feel that maybe I have to do more, and that's why I 2.0 I will be working harder, and that's where I see that.
So hearing this hobby, I don't know whether you will take this well or not, but Shilpa, how often do you go back to your mother's, if I may ask, and how far is it, if I may ask?
So my mother is at Nasik, and once in a 6 months that we go there.
So do you all communicate on WhatsApp or through pigeons at that time?
Pigeons.
So in that case, the pigeon comes over once and does not have any message. What would you call that? Would that be a missed call? Missed call or a missed message?
That's a missed call.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for playing along. Okay, so once more, I know this conversation will never end, but thank you so much, both of you all, for joining in.